Hello and welcome to In the Spotlight. On today's episode, we are going to be talking about Black History Month with Mr. Crosby, a teacher here at Hiram High School. Stay tuned and we'll be back in just a sec. I'm here with Mr. Crosby, a teacher here at Hiram. He has been a part of our school for many years and since and always tries to be proactive in doing things for Black History Month at the school. Hello, Mr. Crosby. Thanks for coming. How are you doing today?
I'm good, Rachel. How about yourself?
I'm good. So to start it off, what are some things that you've done for Black History Month around the school?
Well, in the past, or actually in the past years that I've been here, I've tried to come up with different ways of acknowledging whether it's historical events that African Americans have accomplished. But I try to take it not just in the traditional manner where you might hear the same individuals like Dr. King or Harriet Tubman and maybe Malcolm X. I try to take it from different perspectives and different concepts. You know, one year I've actually took the history, African American history in Hiram, and talked about the individuals who actually helped integrate the school into the place that we are at today. I've actually had a look at historical individuals, famous individuals in the past, and how they are actually linked to some of our teachers that we have presently. This year, I'm actually taking a different approach. Last year I did about inventors and female inventors. This year, I'm actually taking more of a look of philanthropists, African American philanthropists, individuals who have given back to the community because trying to erase some of the negative stigma about maybe people viewing African American as always being individuals that are takers, but now understanding that we also donate, we give, we actually give literally 25% more of our income than the next race. So I try to give it an expansive look at all different areas, and so you probably hear me you don't hear me, but you hear the facts every morning on the intercom where I go and I do the research prior to that.
So, what does Black History Month mean to you?
Wow, what does Black History Month mean to me? Black History Month gives me a chance to elaborate some of I'm not even going to call them accomplishments. I'm going to say it gives us a chance to actually bring more awareness and enlightenment to other things that African Americans have done which is not necessarily stated in our standards. You know, if you look at the history standards, our history standards are pretty broad but very bland to the point where you don't necessarily see actually the mention of the first African American until really Martin Luther King. And so it astounds me because you almost saying that African Americans haven't done anything prior to that. The only other mention would be like in the sense of slavery. And I want to actually take it to the fact that we're not looking at it as a negative light. You know, before we were enslaved individuals that came to America, we came from Africa. Whether we was on the West Coast, whether we was on the East Coast, we come from kingdoms. We come from actually nations such as Mali. We come from the Kush Empire. You know, we come from a bigger place. We're kings. We're queens. We're not just put here on earth, put on United States and just pretty much just say, okay, you're enslaved. So I want to bring awareness and enlightenment to all of that.
So, what are some Black figures that you used to look up to when you were younger?
Wow, when I was younger, I would say, based off of the fact I did grow up in the school system, and so I was pretty much. I'm not going to say brainwashed, but I was also taught to just only acknowledge maybe the traditional ones that they've always presented, such as Dr. King, Rosa Parks, which I do acknowledge them, but I'll be honest with you, after doing a lot more research, just the appreciation of individuals like Rosa Parks is very astounding. I will also say that looking up to individuals such as Marcus Garvey was actually a big one for me growing up in high school, and obviously I'm very enlightened with a lot of the speeches from Malcolm X.
So, what has Black History Month taught you?
What have Black History Month taught me? Black History Month taught me that it is not necessarily just Black history. Black history is our history. It's America's history. You know, just the inventions that we have come up with that is actually incorporated in today's society lets us know that it is part of our history. It's let us also know that African Americans have played more of a major role than what we are actually taught on a regular basis in our classroom. Black history has definitely given me the enlightenment to actually want to spread some of the great things that people of our culture have actually experienced. And I want to be one of those individuals who are just a vessel to actually transport that and relay it to other individuals.
So what's something you think future generations should know about Black history?
Like I said, I do feel like Black history is not just Black history. Black history is our history. It's everybody's history. Whether you're Black, you're white, you're Puerto Rican, it's just history altogether. The biggest concept that I would think people should understand, and I hear it all the time, is everybody, when they graduate from school, they say, I didn't learn that in my history class. But you have to understand, history is evolving every day. That's like me asking you, what did you do on November the 13th this year? You don't remember.
No.
But that's history. So you're asking me, and as a history teacher, to go back and tell you about every aspect of history that took place, going back prior to 1492. Actually, I like to say 1291 because I talk about Mansa Bakari. But you want me to expand on every little aspect of Black history or just history as a whole? That's almost impossible. So Black history gives me the opportunity to also note that our history is evolving. It is growing. And you just can't sit there and put it in a microcosm or a circle or in a little book or a standard and say, okay, well, this is the only thing that you're going to learn. Understand, you're going to have to actually expand your horizons. You're going to have to grow a little bit, which incorporates actually involving not just the history books the history that we learn in textbooks, but also history books or ideas that come from African Americans, Hispanics, women. I feel like we live in an age where we can be more inclusive, and we should not be afraid to talk about it. And I feel like with Black History Month, it gives us that opportunity to go ahead and talk about issues like this.
Completely understand. Now, this next question isn't more so about Black History Month, but about you.
Okay.
I heard that you are the foundation of Hiram. What is that?
Wow, I am flattered to be considered to be part of the foundation of Hiram. I have been called a lot of things from a lot of students, such as old. But foundation, I would say that means that I have been here at Hiram for 20 years, and as being a teacher here for 20 years, I have been in situations where I'm really one of the lone representative, as in people of color, in a lot of different departments. I mean, if you go back, and I'm not taking a knock at Paulding County or anything, but if you go back and you look, you probably will find out prior to a couple of years, I am the only African American department chair that we actually have for one of our core subjects, math, English, science, social studies. I am your only African American AP teacher that you have here at the school. Actually, I'm foundation in Paulding County. I'm literally the only African American department chair out of all the high schools. If you say foundation, you can almost refer to me as almost the Rosa Parks of Paulding County. Literally, I'm there with that opportunity to actually grow and expand, but at the same time, foundation to me means I've been here. I've laid down the ground for some other African American teachers to come here. Definitely have been I would say an exemplar to the actual teaching profession, and probably one of my biggest things that I would say as foundation-wise is being able to open up and have dialogue that probably would not have been discussed in Paulding County maybe, 30 years ago, 25 years ago. I'm open up the dialogue where I'm not afraid to talk to any individual, whether you're an administrator or somebody at the board office, to let them know about the lack of diversity that we may have here at the school. And I'll be honest with you, Hiram is a great school. Hiram actually has the most diversity of all the schools in Paulding County, but at the same time, that's still sad when the fact that our diversity number is probably no more than maybe 18 to 19%. So obviously, we have a lot of work to do in Paulding County and at Hiram, especially when you look at a school that our population, if our student population is majority people of color, we're looking at roughly about 58, 59% individuals who are people of color that attend the school, but yet you actually have representation of only 18%, then this foundation work still has some more work to do.
And I agree. Well, you heard it here, everyone. Thank you so much for coming and answering questions for Mr. Crosby. Hope you've all been having a good Black History Month. Like, comment, and subscribe for more in the spotlight. Ciao.